Welcome back to Guru Beauty. I am Jody. Today I am reviewing a brand new foundation from Nars. Now, Nars is a brand that I am a big fan of. I usually enjoy their foundations. I do love their sheer glow. I love their light reflecting loose and pressed setting powders or finishing powders. They are beautiful. Unfortunately, I clashed with the Luminous All Day foundation that was launched about a year ago, but I love their tinted moisturizer. I love all of their cosmetics really in general. I like their primers as well. So high expectations for this new foundation called the Velvet Matte Skin Tint. This has been available in the States for a while and it has just launched at Mecca here in Australia on February 23rd. It's available in 12 different shades and it retails for 68 Australian dollars, 44 US dollars. And I'm going to share with you how this goes on application on my skin. I'll show you how it lasts throughout the day and I'll give you my final thoughts and recommendations. First up, a little bit about my skin. It is mature, some would say. I'm 39 years of age and my skin problems are many, I would say. I have hyperpigmentation, which I usually like to cover. So I usually like a medium coverage, not necessarily full these days, but a medium coverage. I do have combination skin, so something that's going to inhibit the oil in my T-zone is going to be great, but at the same time not exacerbate the dehydration around my sort of forehead and cheek area. So I demand quite a bit there. I do also like products with SPF. I like products that are going to last throughout the day. I'm a working mum with a full-time job. My days are long, so longevity is really important. And then I have large pores, so something that's going to be smoothing is definitely right up my alley. Now, this product is Velvet Matte Skin Tint. In my teens and in my 20s, I was always after a matte finish, first of all because it was all the rage, but also because they tended to be the more fuller coverage foundations that would last throughout the day, like cement. These days, I think the beauty industry has sort of redefined what matte means, and I do think that this is part of that category. So matte no longer means flat. There's a luminous matte that seems to be, not having to be called luminous matte anymore. It just seems to be what most beauty companies refer to as matte these days. It's a matte that lets some kind of radiance, some kind of luminosity through, and that's definitely what you get with this foundation. So now that you know a little bit about my skin and what my needs are, and under what conditions I'm going to be testing this foundation for, I will let you know a little bit about what Nars says. So on the back they say directions are to blend onto the skin following daily skincare routine for a sheer, natural looking, soft matte finish. That's about all they say on this tube. I will say that I am matched to the shade Alaska Light 2, and that's for my MAC NC25 skin. I am more warmer toned, and definitely the Alaska Light 2 is a more yellow toned foundation. I am Grunland in the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, but I find that that's just a little bit too pink in the new Velvet Matte. So the Alaska is a great match for me. Hopefully you can see that there. Okay, so on the back of the box, what Nars says is Velvet Matte Skin Tint effortlessly perfects with a soft matte finish. The oil-free formula wears comfortably, maintaining skin's natural moisture barrier while working to control shine throughout the day. Helps to blur imperfections and smooth the appearance of pores and fine lines. Soft matte, soft touch, simply glide and go. So it is oil-free, synthetic fragrance-free, non-comedogenic and dermatologically tested. Fragrance-wise, I don't notice any particular perfumed fragrance. It is synthetic fragrance-free, but I will say I can definitely smell that alcohol component. It does have a slightly chemical scent, and yeah, that alcohol being the second highest featured ingredient in this product, you can smell it. For me, it's not overpowering. I could only smell it just as I rubbed it in, and now that it's rubbed into my hand, I can't smell it at all. I'm not conscious of any fragrance when I apply this product on my face. So it's an interesting one. I don't think it's going to bother people who don't like those perfumed fragranced foundations, but if you don't want to smell any alcohol at all, then definitely worth going and checking this one out at the store first. The Sephora website description wise says that it's an oil-free skin tint to protect and perfect with a soft matte finish. It wears comfortably, they say, maintaining skin's natural moisture barrier while working to control shine throughout the day. Transparent blurring powders help to blur imperfections, even the look of skin tone, and smooth the appearance of pores and fine lines. The powder's unique spherical shape, compresses like a cushion, delivering a velvety smooth touchable feel and superior comfort on application. Vitamins C, E and broad spectrum SPF 30 protect against free radical damage caused by environmental stress. Simply touch and go for an effortlessly perfected look. This foundation, based on 254 reviews on the Sephora website, gets 4 out of 5 stars. That's a fairly solid review for foundation, so that is pretty good. When I do look at Makeup Alley though, we are looking at, that is a rating of 3.5 stars with only 45% buying again, and that's based on 22 reviews. And then when I look at the Australian website, we really are not too hard to please despite the prices that we pay. Based on 15 reviews, the foundation gets 4.5 stars. What most people do love about this foundation, when you read the positive reviews, they do say that it lasts all day. They do say that it inhibits their oil. They do say that it's nice and smoothing as well, and it's very lightweight. The people who don't really like the foundation, there's some complaints that it's cakey. There's some complaints that people's faces are an oil slick within a very, very short time period. And there's also some people that say that the shades are too warm, which is sort of too yellowy or orangey. There are 12 different shades available. I do find that it is a range of warmer and cooler skin tones, but it's quite interesting. The reviews really do vary from, you know, this foundation really controls my oils and stays on all day, to, you know, I have dry skin and this foundation was an oil slick within, you know, an hour. So it's really quite interesting, and I think I have pretty good skin to put this one to the test with my combination skin and a T-zone that definitely gets oily quite often. So that is what Nars says about the foundation and what Sephora says about the foundation. Some people do wonder how this compares with the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, which is a cult product from Nars, I would say. This is a lovely product that does provide a little bit more coverage than your average tinted moisturizer, but does have a luminosity and a dew to it. So how they compare: the Velvet Matte Skin Tint as compared to the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer gives you more coverage, definitely, more of a matte finish, and God only knows about the SPF. That's the last thing I wanted to mention really, is both the Sephora and the Nars websites in the USA list this product as a broad spectrum SPF 30 product, yet nowhere on Mecca's website, nowhere on the Nars packaging or on the packaging box does it mention any SPF coverage at all. Something there to definitely be aware of. So I'm going to assume that it doesn't have SPF 30. I'm going to assume it doesn't have any SPF at all. So that's one thing to remember. Definitely make sure that you do have SPF. So the packaging, I am a huge fan of it. Interestingly enough, this is 50 mils of product. The standard size for foundation, even tinted moisturizers, is 30 mils. The Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer is also 50 mils. The Velvet Matte Skin Tint, 50 mils. So you are getting another 66% more product in this packaging versus another standard foundation. So bear that in mind when you're thinking about the price. That would bring this one down to probably about, what, $40? Maybe just over $40 for 30 mils. So, you know, bear that in mind when you're thinking about the price. The plastic tube is excellent for travel. It's very, very lightweight. It's very friendly. If you smash it onto your bathroom tiles, it's just going to bounce, which is fantastic. I love the little lid. It stays very secure. It definitely clicks shut, which is very secure for your cosmetic bag. And the little dispensing tube there really gives you precision. It allows you to really control how much foundation you dispense. So really you can minimize the wastage there. Onto the ingredients, and you'll see me applying the foundation as we go as well. The top ingredient, methyl trimethicone, followed by alcohol, water, adipic acid, neopentyl glycol cross polymer, ethyl hexyl methoxycinnamate, isononyl isononanoate, isononanoate, laurel peg9 polydimethyl siloxyethyl dimethicone, dimethicone, ethyl hexyl salicylate, trimethyl siloxysilate. There is a lot of long names in here, but what I would say basically, top few ingredients, trimethicone, alcohol, water. It does have silicones, it does have alcohol in it, and water. There are no oils, and I don't see any parabens in here either. So I am applying this with my fingers. I find that it does perform pretty well whether you use a sponge, a brush, or your fingers, but I do prefer to put it on with my fingers and then just touch up with a beauty blender. I do find that with one thin layer applying with my hands, I do get a light to medium finish with this foundation, and very easy to blend in. After one thin layer applied with my fingers, the foundation looks fairly demi-matte finish, I would say. A light medium coverage, maybe medium. I can still certainly see hyperpigmentation coming through. I'm going to apply a very, very light layer just over the top using a damp beauty blender, very, very lightly patting over the tops of just those super pigmented areas with a little bit more foundation. I am not going to go crazy because that is where it can all go downhill. Very, 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 very lightly. Where the danger comes with this product is when you do want to build it. Now, I have played with this foundation. Definitely you can't build it to a full coverage without a cakey, yucky mess. If your expectation is a medium coverage foundation, you're going to be okay. Don't expect to be able to build it beautifully. I don't find that this is terribly buildable. And that's, I think, because of that velvet, that matte, part of the formulation. Powders, they're not all that sort of emollient. So I now have a medium coverage foundation. I have a demi-matte finish. It definitely doesn't have a flat matte finish to it. There's a little bit of life there. I am really pleased with the way that my pores look. I think that velvet is an appropriate inclusion to have in the name of this product because it does sort of have that velvety smoothing type effect to my face. I am going to apply the rest of my makeup. We'll see what that finish sort of evolves into in say half an hour. Hang on tight, I'll be right back. Makeup is applied, about half an hour has passed. I've applied powder blush, but that is about it to my face. And I would say that some luminosity has come through. My skin is still looking pretty velvety smooth, so I think this is definitely a smoothing foundation that is going to be kind to your pores, at least on application. We'll see how that one lasts throughout the day. But definitely I've got some shine coming through. My nose literally has some shine on it, and it's half an hour that has passed. Again, I did blend with a damp beauty blender. That's going to be a factor as well. But I am going to apply a little bit of powder just around my T-zone today. Today I'm going to use another Nars product. So this is the Soft Velvet Loose Powder, and I'm using the shade Eden. I'm going to apply a very little amount to the same damp beauty blender. I haven't re-wet it, but I'm going to use that same damp beauty blender just to apply it definitely around my nose. That's going to need some help if I'm not going to shine today. And into the corners of my nose, T-zone there, chin. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to leave the rest of my face without any powder. It's a relatively warm day here in Western Australia, so yeah, we'll see how this is going to wear on my skin throughout the day. About 8 to 9 hours now after application, and I am quite happy with the way that my skin looks. My skin doesn't look matte, but it still looks smoothed out. I did need to do a touch-up because I did have an oily breakthrough. I would describe it as an oily breakthrough. I had an oily breakthrough across my forehead, pretty much across my face. But it did take half the day to get that oily breakthrough, and a touch up with a damp beauty blender and some more of the Nars loose powder certainly did a good job to smooth everything back out again, and my coverage is definitely still there at the almost 9 hour mark. So I'm pleased right now with the way that my skin is looking. This is the best that I have been able to get with the Nars Velvet Matte Skin Tint. I have worn it over other primers. I have worn it with and without powders at setting, and I have found that if I've built it up too much, it has caked. If I have worn too much powder, it has caked. It does need definitely touch up for me throughout the day, once or twice throughout the day. It is also one that moves, so with that oil breakthrough, I do find that I do want to sort of pat it in certain areas. It does sort of need to be a bit reworked throughout the day. Bottom line, with this combination, with the Nars Pro Prime, with the application with my fingers and then damp beauty blender without building it too much, and then a very slight application across the T-zone with loose powder with a couple of touch-ups. I actually quite like this foundation. Is it $68 worth of foundation that sets itself apart from, you know, foundations that are half, a third, a quarter of the price? I'm not sure. I'm not sold on that. So do I like this foundation? Yes, absolutely. I like this foundation. Do I love this foundation? I can't say it's a love. It's a like, it's not a love. The Nars Velvet Matte Skin Tint, one guru thumbs up. It's an interesting one for, you know, $40 to $45 equivalent of 30 mils. I still think that, you know, this should be a really fantastic foundation. I love the way it looks on application. It doesn't necessarily keep that promise throughout the day. It's reasonable though at the end of the day with a touch up. On application, it's something that I would stop and look in the mirror and say, woo, what foundation am I wearing? Towards the end of the day, that's just not the case. You know, your experience with this foundation is going to be very what we see in the reviews there, definitely reflective of my experience. One day I'll wear it and I'll think, yeah, this is looking fantastic. It's really not that bad. And then, you know, on other days I'll just think, whoa, this doesn't look great at the end of the day. So it's an interesting one. I've heard from people with dry skin who really quite like it. Even people in reviews with dry skin say their skin looks oily. That's quite interesting. Probably better with a very moisturized face, I would say, for those people with dry skin. If you do have oily skin, I wouldn't rely on this product to be your oil inhibitor either. I think you can get products as good for cheaper. That is pretty much it. Please do let me know what you think about the Nars Velvet Matte Skin Tint if you have used it. Let us all know about it in the comments. Let us know what your skin type is. If you've had a lot of success, how do you apply it? What do you wear it with? Do you top it with powder? Do you use a particular primer? All that stuff. I would love to hear from you. Or if you haven't had a great experience, let us know all about that too. I would love to hear whatever your experience has been. Have yourself a gorgeous day. Please don't forget you are absolutely beautiful. It's all very nice to want to look at, very nice to want to look velvety and smooth and evened out, but you know what? It is so much more important to be beautiful to all those around you. You will make the world a better place, so go out and do it. I will see you again really, really soon. Thank you. Bye.